Welcome to another match analysis video. Before we get into this one, I want to kind of talk about the format of the series as a whole. When I released my first one, I found it to be very interesting because it was a game where the midpoint was really tense, really close. Both teams were actually doing very well, way better than average on the mid, and I had to judge the sustainability and then use that judgment to make a call as to whether I want to go on offense or defense. And I chose to go on offense. The situation resolved itself in our favor, and we quickly rolled the enemy team with perfect timing, despite the fact that the enemy team was pretty good and pretty aware. But in that video, I took a bit of flack with people saying, yeah, well, you had clan members in your squad. Yeah, well, you had a good team. Yeah, well, the enemy team didn't react fast enough. And it kind of became this effort to prove myself with the next video. And that's what I tried to do. I played that Balea match, and we were ultimately responsible for holding the mid alone with blueberries, which isn't always an easy task, and we accomplished it. And then not only that, but the offense was basically useless and never really going to succeed, so we intervened, built a fob, sent our engineer onto offense. He did a fantastic job. And as a result of my decisions and the effectiveness of the people in my squad, namely the engineer, we essentially pulled a game win that otherwise most likely would have been a defeat through KD loss even after holding the mid pretty much on our own. Of course, it wasn't entirely on our own. The friendly team was still on offense. They were in the right area, which is more than you could say for a lot of pub matches. But ultimately, I believe that that game would have directly been a loss without our intervening on offense while also maintaining a defense. I felt it was a very good example of some stuff stacked against us, a not-so-fantastic team dealing with leading an average blueberry squad and still managing to pull out a game win. But going forward, I'm not going to stick to this format. I'm not going to try to make every video morally justifiable or something that makes me look good. I'm just going to take matches that I consider to be interesting from a strategic standpoint and showing them to you. It's possible that I won't be involved in them whatsoever. I could be a heli pilot flying around for the entire match, showcasing exactly what's going on, maybe giving you some insight as to the decisions I'm making in the helicopter, but largely talking about the interplay between the squads and the enemy team. Or I may have a match where I have 10 clan members on, split between 3 separate infantry squads, absolutely dominating with just peak communication, cooperation, and performance. Even if I meet no resistance and there's little to talk about with the interplay between our squad and the enemy team, it's still a good conversation to be having about why we chose the tactics we had and why we were able to cut through everything like butter. And with that being said, let's move on to this match, which is going to be on CAF Mestia RAAS v1. I have 4 clan members on. 2 of them are going to join my squad, which is going to be unlocked infantry, and the 4th, Stiff, is going to create his own infantry squad, once again unlocked 9-man. The advantage that Stiff provides to me, knowing that I have a second SL who's trustworthy and I understand how he plays, is immense. There's always going to be 2 active objectives, defense and offense, and if you have 2 SLs who you know you can trust, well, you can cover every important thing on the map. Even if everybody else goes off to the middle of nowhere, you'll be outnumbered, but there's a decent chance that you may still be able to pull the match off, and at the very least, you know, if the offense fails, it's not because of shit tactics and you don't get frustrated. It's because there was very, very heavy resistance and you were not able to push through. Similarly, if the defense fails, you know that it's not through shitty defending and bad gameplay and it frustrates you. You know it's because a fuck ton of people are attacking the defense flag.
Advance and secure. Push out and secure all objective areas.
I'm making one. Did anyone else want space?
What's up, brothers?
Or are you all making one?
Yep. Hello.
Morning. If you don't have a mic, leave
Never
now
get
and save
some
yourself
space.
the embarrassment of being kicked. If someone grabs
Yeah,
combat
I couldn't
entry,
get-
I'll
don't
love
wanna
you
get
a
embarrassed.
long time.
Freeze it up, I'll take.
Yo, you guys can
I
ban
am
me.
CFE.
You remember the north fob, south fob thing we did last game, Stiff? Last time we were on this?
I don't remember what you're talking about. We would definitely.
Thank God.
That's a nice looking truck.
This.
I heard Zed's dead.
Yo, Mike.
Somebody grab the tap V.
What?
IC, will you grab tap V?
Hello.
And Fletcher, hop in with IC.
You must not watch Bruce Willis movies. Zed's dead, baby.
Yeah.
Fletcher R.
Have you
Hop
seen
in,
the new
tab
terrain?
V on move mark.
You're familiar with the new terrain, right?
Hop into what?
Tab V, the
Tab V, you're
vehicle
coming.
to your south.
That is really a sexy gun you got there, Mr.
Wow,
Smart.
wow, dude. Okay, wow, Ryan Hawks. Wow.
Thanks.
Are you sure?
I'd like to point out that
Where do you want us to
somebody
go?
made the squad and left it,
Made
and
it.
I got voted as fucking itself.
Okay.
Sure.
It's all
Sure,
painted
bud.
up and lubed.
Mic check.
Really sexy.
Alright, switching over to the firing range here, it's time to talk strategy. Now, Mestia is what I call a linear map. My guides are mostly directed towards open-ended maps, and most of the things I say are set with maps like Yiho or Gorodok in mind. The kind of maps where you have objectives as individual local hotspots with reasonably non-diverse terrain around them, to the point where you have multiple options. Mestia is the opposite. You have these closed-in borders, you have these valley roads, and a lot of your fighting is going to be taking place in a more linear fashion. The ability to place flanking fobs is lessened. Mestia is obviously not the worst offender of this. There are other maps that are significantly harder, and you can still do a lot of the strategies I like to employ with flanking fobs and the like on Mestia. It's just definitely more of a challenge. So now that I have two SLs available to me, the thing I want to do first is obviously cover the midpoint. And when it comes to RAAS on this map, it's very similar to AAS. There are a few exceptions. For example, Quarry is normally a second flag for Blue 4 if it's going to be a flag at all, whereas here it could be the potential Mercy Bleed, as well as Farmstead, I believe is the name of this point. Let me double check that real quick. Yeah, Farmstead and Quarry are potential first flags. Obviously, Farmstead is a significantly easier first flag, and Quarry being the first flag is going to be a disadvantage for our team, because it means that we're going to have to push it with an asset early to prevent it from being countered. This can be done cheaply with just a single stealth capper if you want to risk it, or it could be the option of a full squad. On RAAS, I am more inclined to go for the stealth cap option, which is why I'm asking people to pile into the MAT V, or the TAP V, sorry. Usually I prioritize light vehicles on early game for backcaps, pretty much regardless of lane, layer, map, whatever. I almost always want to get a light vehicle early to handle backcaps, and that's why I have Icy in there with one Blueberry, who are going to go attempt to backcap Quarry. Now the next flag is either going to be Tunnel Entrance or Crucible Gamma, which are fairly easy to cover. And the flag after that is going to be one of these crucibles, either Crucible Alpha or Bravo, and that's going to be our midpoint. This is a 5-flag layer. After that, it's going to go to either Waterfall or Warehouse, which will be the second cap for Militia, and then Fortification or Armory. So if you look at that, our second flag to third flag, midpoint, most important area is all predominantly around here, and what I want to be doing is getting as many fobs there as quickly as possible. When it comes to Mestia, you really have to consider the road networks for this. The north is the easiest and safest option. It's very common to go up this road and then break into this forest somewhere and set a fob somewhere around here. And that is my initial plan. That's what I want to do. It's one of the safest bets. It's a fob that can contest pretty much everything in the vicinity, and it leaves room, ultimately, for other fobs further up to the mid. And now I have another SL available to me, Stiff, and I'm ultimately the one who makes the plans when we do these kind of dual or triple SLs, and so I am going to choose to send him somewhere to the south to get another fob. Now, this is much riskier, because if you take this main road down here, by the time you make this turn, it's uphill, it's very slow, and a techie can rush behind you, or a techies can even kind of make it up this hill and get eyes on you as you're going up. So this is always a riskier option, and I'm accepting the possibility of Stiff getting hit. Now I have multiple options for where I actually want him to set up the fob, but in this particular match, I choose to tell him to fob up down here in actual tunnel entrance. That's going to leave us enough room to place a fob here later if I can get the truck up, while my people push west to contest it. Now Mestia always turns into this kind of a fight, these eastern fobs versus western fobs that Militia sets up, usually up north here, or in this vicinity here, or sometimes all the way up to Waterfall here. And then this is usually just the firefight that occurs, and that's what I'm prepping for. Now the flag after the midpoint can actually be Waterfall, or it can go all the way down to Warehouse. It could be a viable option to get a squad rushing Warehouse for that reason, or even taking a similar route to Stiff and going up here. But I'm kind of running out of time. I've taken too long on staging. I'm spending too much time considering where I want me and Stiff to go, and I'm neglecting the other squads. And this ends up being an issue because, as you can see when the clip starts rolling again, another squad puts a move mark on Quarry with a 9-man with Logi, and I fail to react to that and fail to realize it. If I did realize that a full squad was going there, I would have sent Icy on the south road to cover Stiff in the vehicle. And I may have changed up a lot more things, but I don't realize it, and it ends up being a bit of an issue for us and a bit of a failure on my end.
Not to mention cocktail.
Alright, Icy, you're on Quarry duty. Try to get him in alive.
This is
fucking weird.
Squad 1, you know you can put the radio inside the tunnel underneath in the,
Just to drive straight
in that little room and then build on top of mountain your fobs.
Yeah, but I worry about it early game because of how hot
Do
the
they have
North
anything
Road
really
gets.
dangerous? 2 scout cars.
I have to get my truck
Oh,
back
okay.
out after.
Go and whip solo.
So this guy has a good point. Sometimes it is viable to put the radio in the tunnel and stretch the fob, so the fob doesn't go down with the radio, but that takes a lot more time and a riskier route. I have to go further down that road where I can meet a techie head on. I have to duck into that tunnel, place the radio, walk all the way out and back up, which is time that my guys are not pushing west to contest the mid, and then eventually I'm going to have to get my truck back out. Preferably on the north, but that might be too hot by then, so possibly down in the south where I then have to climb even further to get to my other fob that I want to place. It's ultimately just too much time.
I'm gonna put the lab overwatching Quarry.
Stiff, I'll cover the north crucibles on these 2 marks. You can quickly cover
Roger,
the
I'll
south
cover
crucible on that mark.
What's up, boys?
Okay, once we get to
One
move
day I'll
mark,
get good.
fucking Blanc is gonna stay on me to build. Everybody else is gonna start pushing along this line. I want control of all
Squad
the
one will
crucibles
over,
as
squad
quickly
three
as
will head for it.
possible. So all those little castles on the north side, we have another squad that's gonna be handling the southmost castle, but we want control over all of this good sightline as early as possible. So don't stop, just rush west. Only Blanc is building. Moment we dismount,
You
cover
sound like
as
you've
much
done this
ground
in
as
real-
possible.
I had to ride with you guys.
I do not. Let me know if Corey goes to shit early, Icy, and we'll divert some people.
And these fucking
Yeah, I'll weave myself.
most have no barrels.
Fletcher, you're the one who's
And
being
then stream
dropped
really
off
loud.
inside, Corey,
Really close.
so the name of the game is Stealth Cap. Even if they contest you, you don't have to kill anyone, just hide and you'll get it anyway.
Everybody got the
Drop me off
silencers?
on Quarry.
Yeah, he's gonna
Enemy
take it in.
suppressed?
They actually like cleaned out this area when they updated Mestia. This used to be like really jagged and you can go off the road there, but you would risk hitting a tree and fucking your whole day up. Now you can just like go off the road as much as you want.
I'm on the wrong lodge, I'll try and get over to y'all as soon as possible.
Okay.
Of course, the sniper goes to the wrong one. Fucking gotten the one
Typical. Typical. No, I'm just fucking with you.
Typical sniper.
Blanc, will you drop 6 and then build? Everybody else push. Push to move, push to move. Cover as much ground as you can as early as possible. Don't worry about digging. Blanc has the digging. Everybody else push.
Looks like 3's on court
Oh,
with 9 men.
I never told them that I was gonna back cap it because I'm a dumbass. You can come up to us.
We'll go do your thing. Third attack.
Block this road if you want, and then I'll probably call a fob west and you can flank it with the MG. Once you're done, Blanc, we're driving to move.
On the road.
So you guys
Yeah, we're
Let's
chasing.
go. 1 to 10. How much fun you guys having over there?
Target, I've played with you before a while ago, haven't I? Like, long before this server.
Yeah, I played with. You used to hang out.
Are you guys in contact, Ori?
Or squad up?
Hey, fam, there was a logic here.
Not ops. We did Bella's Fat,
Second
West
logic.
Coast.
Oh my god, I want to see if we can get a 50 cal placement in one of those fucking towers or like
That
a
was
TG.
good. We were chasing
I'm pretty sure I've run with BHM guys before.
Oh my.
Okay, all good.
We stopped rush.
You did your duty. So quite a bit just happened to break down. They obviously pushed Quarry pretty hard, harder than I was expecting. I believe Alaji went north on the hills that our squad that pushed there took care of. And then 1 to 2 Lodges went on that road towards Quarry that Icy and the guy in the MRAP managed to take out. And then they ultimately got killed by a scout car, which is still a perfectly good use of a Mat V. Totally contested that push, did a great job, and I'm happy with it. Had we relied on a stealth cap on Quarry, it may have gone a little bit south. We would have gotten there a little bit early, we would have had a couple people in range, and we may have taken it, but I would have had to immediately divert to start building a fob for a stealth cap should my stealth cappers have died, and we would not have gotten that third fob on the mid. And while all that's going on, my machine gunner is laying into a Logi to the west, and I'm trying to get my people to push that as quickly as possible to be on top of it before it becomes a fob.
Yep. Logic roll.
Stannis was a bit.
Logi west, get good sightlines on it, guys. Go ahead and dump long.
Bomb with it.
Alright, Stiff, you wanna push next flag? I'll get you
Do we have marksman?
6, throw your medic
Left
back
sure
behind
I see
you,
you
6.
got
Push
Cat.
Gamma?
Yeah, I
or
know,
you
I
want
know.
to push warehouse?
The next flag after.
Yeah, I got what?
I'll find it for you.
It was a one-man lodge.
Should be Alpha or Bravo.
At this point, the midpoints are essentially secure. The Logi to the west was one man, and the machine gunner took it out. We have kind of completely contested their north, so I'm trying to talk to Stiff in Discord and get him to start pushing for the next points, which I am currently looking at my sheet to accurately inform him of where they are.
After Gamma.
Okay, sorry. I'm on mid. We're good. We're good on all the crucibles. Head for the one after that, warehouse or waterfall. Marking.
I'm gonna do Waterfall first because I think I
Do you want us on the one Gamma to go there? Leave the blueberries cap?
No, we're gonna handle the midpoint wherever it pops up next.
Okay.
Alright guys, the midpoint is the next flag, that's what we're handling. We're on defense on the midpoint. Next flag to pop up. It'll be near us. It'll be one of these crucibles, so get ready for that. Other squads are pushing off. The match starts to look sketchier and sketchier from this point onward, and I would like to blame 2 decisions of mine. The first is where I told Stiff to put his first south fob, and I will talk about that at the very end of the video. And the second one is going to be my lack of encouragement for blueberries to push west. Right now we have a good net. It looks pretty safe to the west where they normally set their fobs, but that will fail and I won't be on top of encouraging it. Rage your target, let me know if you actually see him coming from here. It's one of their back caps. There's most likely a spawn in there, but let me know if you can confirm it.
They're coming across the one enemy scout car, yeah.
They must have.
Yep,
They're
they're
not
coming
at
from there.
back that long.
That's gonna be one of their flags. It's gonna be their mercy bleed. Fortification will be their mercy bleed, or armory. They're right with the fob mark on. If you guys want to push that, you can. It's a long walk, but I like keeping pressure off the hills.
Southwest.
Okay, Stiff will probably take care of that. Oh yeah, that's where Stiff was heading. We'll let Stiff deal with it. Bravo is the next cap. We're gonna focus primarily west. Squad 2 is focusing primarily south. It's all good, you can push that on foot easy from Bravo. We're letting you handle south, whether it's attack or defense, whatever, just the south in general.
Yeah, I got you.
If it does go warehouse, you
Getting
can
pretty close with
break off, grab a new chunk, make a wider flank, and I'll start covering south on defense as
Just had a
well.
couple on top of it.
Yeah. I'm trying to just reacquire my Logi truck. There's the full squad down here to the south.
I have build, I can mortar it for you. If you want to completely destroy it. If you want to reacquire it, you can just go for that.
You mean on your truck?
Yeah, I have 600 here.
Roger.
So I can mortar yours if need be.
I'm thinking I could probably get this Audi truck back if my guys push all
north
together
of
at
my
once.
position.
Marking for you. Alright, lots to break down again. First off, Stiff goes south, runs into a full squad. So this is something that I should have paid more attention to and I should have reacted to. My thought process here is that Stiff is going to continue to push Waterfall and that is going to cover the defense of the south. So I want my guys to prioritize the west and the north. What I'm not really considering is where these people came from, because I'm looking at it as if their spawn is directly there, as if they're coming from the south from Warehouse, which is what I believe to be true right now, that somewhere between Warehouse and Waterfall there is a fob. However, the thing I'm failing to consider is the fact that some people have died to the southwest, in this general vicinity, which is a very good and common place for the militia to place their fob, and we will discover that they have placed their fob there, which, if Stiff continues to work from this fob to try to go to Waterfall, is going to be a big issue for me because those people can push northeast into the midpoint, while I'm kind of neglecting the south under the assumption that they're going to be blocked because I still think they're spawning to wreck south. Squad 3, if you want to start heading for Warehouse, that might be one of the next flags. It's either that or Waterfall, and we could probably handle Waterfall on a run. The fact that Stiff lost his truck there isn't the end of the world, because if he recovers it, it's in position for a good fob, but it does mean I want another squad with an external truck working on the other potential next flag. The squad north is a good option for that, as they're now out of position and they still have a truck. This means I'm less likely to have to mortar Stiff's truck to recover it if the flag actually ends up going to Warehouse.
Hit. He's dead.
You guys got contacts behind you. They're coming up the road.
Alright, so check out this freeze frame of fuckery. We got a fob to the west on their Mercy Bleed point where a migration is coming west across us, which means we have to keep focus to the west regardless of the fact that that's almost never going to do any damage, just so that they don't walk directly onto cap. Blanc just called contact to our direct north coming up with this scout car, which is either the remnants of the quarry push or is a new north fob that we are not aware about or potential rally point. At this point, I want to split my squad. I want a majority of my squad on defense still looking north, still looking west, dealing with this migration to the west and trying to find out what the fuck happened north. But I also want to start pushing south, because now I actually am worried about the south defensively, because Stiff is trying to get around to get to his truck to set up a fob, which is the correct move on offense. But as a result, if there is a spawn on their defense point, which I don't know at this point, they are going to start moving from there directly to the offense, and we're going to get really heavily contested on the south unless I move to block that, which will then allow Stiff the distraction he needs to get a good offense and to build a sneaky fob with his truck. Okay, we're going to split things up a bit. Charlie and Bravo, you're on defense. Robo, Target, Coldness, everyone in Alpha, including myself, we're pushing south on foot towards the next flag. If you're on defense, just try to make sure you get visual coverage over everything. Most important thing, don't let them sneak up on you. Now, the reason I'm not out and about with my truck like other matches is because of the limitations of Mestia. I don't feel comfortable going south and I don't feel comfortable going north. I would have to take a border to flank, and so ultimately I'm just trying to see what's going on around the mid. There's one on observe. Got him. This is the first sign of contact on the south, as predicted, and is an omen of things to come. While I'm continuing to try to get Alpha to push, I hear a worrying call on the north on defense.
They just marked a fob northwest.
Okay, if you're on defense, push that.
Also, I'm getting shot on the west side Crucible. There's somebody shooting your squad.
Keep me posted on whether that's accurate.
I'm ahead.
So now if you look at the map and put yourself in my mindset, you see why I'm a little bit worried. I believe that there's contact coming directly from the enemy objective up the hill, and I just shot somebody that kind of confirms that, and I ultimately have nobody there. They can walk straight up. Stiff is still working on his offense, which involves him flanking, which means he's not going to contest it, which is why I need people south. Simultaneously, a fob gets marked to the north, which is a big issue, and I need people to be pushing immediately, because if that's not taken down, I actually believe that to be the bigger threat, since we still do have people naturally pushing the south just because of the natural tendency to gravitate towards the next objective. But now look at this within the context of what we know in post, that the fob is actually northwest of Waterfall and southwest of our defense objective, and look how shitty of a position this is. I have no choice but to push my people north onto that fob, or we're going to get surrounded by two fobs. And ultimately, this is the beginnings of what I would call an unsustainable defense, where I am soon not going to have the ability to flank or to really push fobs, and I'm just going to have to try to contest cap range as long as possible and hope that offense goes well, because there's just too many spawns surrounding me. There are some silver linings though. If you take a look at the map right now, you can see that 5 is killing the fob that's been burdening us with the blueberry migration from the west. This is the lowest priority fob right now, and ultimately I would rather have his guys elsewhere, but it is still an advantage and it's still going to benefit us as a whole. I also completely miss this in the moment and don't even realize it, and that will come into play later in the match. Second of all, the north fob actually goes incredibly well. Our people get there before they're really spawning and manage to take it out. I believe it was a proactive guy on the enemy team who recognized the value of having a north fob, but possibly didn't have a full squad or didn't have people ready to spawn, and while he was building it, ultimately got overwhelmed because we saw it a little bit early. This has happened to me many times, and I feel a little bit of sympathy for this guy who built a very phenomenal fob that was underutilized and promptly destroyed by very few people.
We're digging down habits on me right now.
Good shit, guys. Pull in distractions so you can get around. Pushing a few of my guys with you.
Third one right here on my butt.
Roger.
It sounds like he's picking up his butt.
Okay, once we take care of that north fob, we gotta focus pretty hard south. It's gonna get a little sketchy on Bravo at this point, probably. As I spawn in, it becomes apparent to me that quite a few people did manage to spawn on the north fob before it went down. My guys are on the radio right now taking it down, but they managed to kind of get behind, and a full squad kind of flanked east and is now coming up to our northeast on the flag, which is going to be a big problem. Even though we have successfully dealt with the north spawn, or at least we will be dealing with it right now, this represents a big threat as we're trying to push southwest and contest those blueberries if we have people coming in northeast. And it's going to turn really sketchy really fast, as you can see in the following clips.
Like, literally walked over him. He went past him.
Did you guys find Radio Ridge or just have...
Right on my...
We're on radio right now.
Yeah. Contacts are walking up from Waterfall.
We're taking out enemy water.
3, be careful nowhere.
SVD on me.
Drawn there and chin.
Sitting on those.
Copy, we're gonna build one quick.
Alright, we took out lodging.
SVD right next to us.
They're at our hab. One dude's about to kill all
One
of them.
SVD is fucking killing the entire team right now.
Buddy, what the fuck?
Watch out, they're on the fob pretty close, man.
One SVD, he's killing the entire team. He's east.
I don't know, he just fucking, he killed
Now
us
it's
all.
2.
Yeah.
There's too many.
Oh.
Spawn at the other hab, push it.
Yeah, 3, there's guys to your south.
Everybody,
These guys came from direct east.
on a different point. Spawn on Waterfall. Once Ab goes.
Getting shot from Bravo 10. But we have guys up.
Bad shit's happening, but we took the north radio. I want to push northeast, try to find out where the fuck these east guys came from, if they have a rally, and get everyone else to work on cap range. Try to clean out cap range. I'm gonna go find out where the fuck these guys spawned. As I push up, we're losing cap range, we're losing our central fob, and we're getting hit from 2 angles, so I want to know how offense is going. In all of this distraction, in all this commotion, and given the fact that they were spawning southwest, not directly on defense, Stiff was able to get to his truck, build a spawn, and start neutralizing, which is what I'm asking for confirmation on right now. Now I spawned down southeast so I can get a rally closer to the point, but I'm going to use that northeast fob my next spawn if I'm going to continue looking for people and looking for where they're spawning so I can flank around. I'm also worried about them finding and proxying that northeast spawn. But when I get confirmation that Stiff is neutralizing, it allows me to shift into a unsustainable defense mindset and just purely focus on contesting cap range as long as possible and going for the stealth cap should it double newt. I don't actually need to resolve the spawn issue going on north, I just need to hold out long enough. How you doing, Stiff? You neutralizing?
They know where the bomb is too, by the way.
We're neutralizing right now. Just start.
Did we lose the tower?
Robo, let me know if you can save that fob. We're about to lose this one and the northeast one at the same time. Unless these guys were in tunnel. As you can see, they start taking out the northeast spawn, which leads me to suspect they may be coming from train tunnel or a completely different spawn than the one that was on the north side initially, though it is still possible they're working off a rally off that spawn. Either way, the situation is bad. We're losing all of our spawns, we're getting pushed and pinched down into one angle, and I need to focus on cap range and stealth cap. What's worse is that I failed to recover our Logi and put it somewhere safer in the early game, so now I need to concentrate on destroying that as well, or recovering it. We're going to be using a lot of spawns in a very short amount of time here. Just keep using rally and trying to contest cap range. We're taking the offense point. At this point, my biggest worry is still the east/northeast, because I still believe that they are coming from Waterfall, and I think that Stiff, in the process of neutralizing and building his spawn, is inevitably going to contest their spawn and start taking it down. So I'm trying to get people to push west onto cap range, and hope that we do so in time before the east comes down and kills our final fob. As such, you can hear me start to get confused, because this is challenging my normal beliefs. I don't understand how they have so many people pushing the south that they're neutralizing and we're unable to make progress. I don't realize that this is a stream that's completely uncontested from the southwest that's just allowed to get to that point before they're engaging anything. Where the fuck is cap range? How do they have this many people on here?
Scaring me like Ray.
Okay, it's contested. Get 3 people into cap range. Oh, are we not going to double nute? Are we not going to double nute?
Command, he still wants to fall back. Can you guys have this?
Well, if 6 has got it, then
We're taking it. Because if we step out, we're not getting this position back.
6, just let us know if you think you're going to take it.
We're not gonna take it.
Shit's happening.
Yeah, we're going to need to fall back 3. Maybe towards the waterfall. Not necessarily all the way back to Bravo. If 6 can take Bravo, and then you gotta take Waterfall with 2.
We are about 10% away from capturing Waterfall if we can get back on.
Go for it. We're contesting Bravo. Double nute will resolve its both better for us than for them. And we're taking back cap. Keep pushing through the contact to the west.
Any, so if you guys know where they are,
confident these guys came from direct west. At least in part.
Yeah, they came from like...
RAAS squad pinched us east. We do need to worry about the east later, because that is going to absolutely fuck us if they take out our last spawn right now, which I think they're in the process of doing. A hab mark went up, and command has UAV. I'm guessing it's accurate. Is that an accurate hab, command?
I don't see anything there.
Ready for double.
Okay, there's the double nuke. Keep pushing past cap range. 3 people can cap at this point. Keep pushing past it into their spawns. I want to take ground if we can. So a lot just happened there in my mind. I made a lot of decisions. I changed my mind like 4 times within the course of that 60 seconds. Essentially, the moment Stiff got wiped, things got very, very sketchy, because now I can't just rely on contesting cap range and then waiting out for the offense. They have completely got the spawn advantage on us over the entire midpoint now, so I am in really bad shape if we lose the offense. But Stiff's spawn wasn't wiped, and while the entire team is talking about how we need to prepare for defending the next flag in line, he ends up getting back on it and re-neutralizing, and at the exact same time we start contesting. We're only winning by firefights, not by spawn networks that actually matter, but it may hold out long enough. So while I was walking up to the defense, I was thinking, do I need to go for the stealth cap, or do I need to go destroy my Logi? And I was on the fence until we realized that they started neutralizing again, and I went for cap range. Now while all this is happening, command finally marks the hab southwest, which makes a ton of sense, and the neutral is finally established. So we have a double nute, we have people kinda near cap range, and I choose to push past to put some pressure on this hab. Ultimately, at first I want my people to push with me, and I'm trying to encourage that, but as the contact just gets thicker and thicker and people get wiped, I'm now telling everybody to spawn rally and go for the stealth cap, which involves getting 3 people sneaky into cap range, not fighting, not trying to do anything. I am still super worried about this squad that's been flanking east and taking out our spawns, because I do genuinely believe that it's going to take out our final fob as well, and I'm warning my squad about that right now. While I'm convincing everybody just to go for the stealth cap, I'm trying to convince some of these people to the south, of which there are a lot more, to push the hab that command has marked and try to get them relieving pressure off of both themselves and us.
Where's the hab?
We're losing hab to the east
Southwest
of Bravo,
of Bravo.
there. It's got a squad that's flanking around.
There goes the final hab.
They've killed 2 of our habs already.
Keep using rally and contesting cap
Not
range.
capping.
Once again, this is totally unsustainable. They're wiping our spawns, they're building spawns faster than I can, and I am putting all of my eggs into the stealth cap. Also, I want to save my dignity here for a second. I'm going to freeze frame and let you know what's happening here. I see these guys. They're moving off to my left. Squad has a very narrow field of view usually. I'm counting on them not seeing me and trying to run past them. I don't want to engage them. I want to get on top of their spawn. And Squad has a super annoying animation delay where sometimes people will be walking parallel to you and then they will snap and fire at you, and your first indication that they've actually turned around will be the fact that you see muzzle flash coming 90 degrees out of their left shoulder. This isn't that extreme, but you can definitely see why I get annoyed when I die here.
No, it's not being
fucking
dug down.
hate
It's just
Squad
sitting on there.
sometimes. Anyway, one of the biggest issues with leading blueberries over leading clan members comes down to stealth caps, comes down to rapid relocation, and just many of the aspects of squads that are not intuitive yet extremely important. And this is a great example. The rally is right there. It's just off of cap range and there's perfect cover, and yet they haven't really been listening to what I've been saying about not engaging and just hiding. So I spawn there myself and try to manage it. Similarly, the A10 the commander called in has taken care of the fob, so the only issue right now is can I stealth cap before these people from the east come up and completely finish fucking me by destroying my rally. Okay, push Bravo, push Bravo. We gotta stealth cap this back. Somehow the east spawns alive
There's
for
no
a second.
ammo or resources.
I know, this is stealth cap.
Oh
and
shit,
then
it's a rocket ship. Oh my god.
That's us.
Oh, that's the us. Yeah, I was like,
Okay, this is cap range. Just stay alive in cap range. Don't need to push, don't need to kill. Just stay alive in cap range.
Yeah, I got him.
Robo, can you work on killing our truck? Block, can you work on killing our truck? Move mark truck.
yeah, there's enemies coming directly onto the hat. They are moving through the rocks to my east. They're coming behind
Stay
you guys.
alive in cap.
There's a
Gotcha.
ton of them pouring over top me.
There's only 3 alive in cap right now. Don't need to fight, just need to stay alive in cap.
Okay, was that a bird or a little girl?
What the fuck?
Take the respawn, rally should be soon.
Rally's on 45.
Let's judge that. Let's just hope that 6 stays alive. It's us and him right now. Yeah, go ahead and kill it. I don't want it alive. It's gonna die no matter what.
Cap, if you go down, you could come take my logic truck.
Okay, nearly done, nearly
Yeah,
done.
we don't have enough
Please don't
spoilers.
die. Please don't die. Okay, we're good. Last cap is gonna be fucking armory. If you're alive, prioritize killing truck.
Good job on Bravo, guy.
You're on defense, Stiff. Try to get spawns as soon as possible. Shit sucks here. I'm going for next flag because we are completely losing the mid. If we lose waterfall after, this game's rolling back to quarry probably. At this point I am full focus on either destroying or recovering, but probably destroying truck and then getting people to walk towards the next flag since I'm going to have a respawn timer and I'm not going to be on time to get an amazing, quick, fast attack on armory. It's going to be a little slower, so I would like a general distraction to start coming from the crucible area if our spawns last that long. Good shit. If you're alive, push move mark. I'm just waiting on truck to spawn. I'll get you a way better spawn for move mark. Push it for now.
2-3 the hat.
Now we're doing basic leapfrog here. Because I was on defense and the offense was taken, I now moved to offense. And Stiff, who took the offense, now focuses on defense. The issue is our defense now kind of sucks. We're down to 1 fob, it's getting intermittently proxied from these people northeast, and ultimately, it's probably not going to hold. However, instead of moving to back him up, I go for the offense objective instead. You may have heard the phrase, the best defense is a good offense, and that does apply to squad to some extent. Even if everything went absolute to shit on the defense, we still have the duration of time it takes for them to spawn wipe our infantry, and start capping to secure a double neutral. And a double neutral can hold our position on the map, rather than forcing us to go back to the midpoint crucibles, which are in terrible shape. So I am going to go for that as fast as possible. Unfortunately, like the last video, I fucked our truck at this pivotal moment, so I'm waiting on a respawn, which is bad. But fortunately for me, there's another full squad there that starts walking with the remnants of my guys, and they actually are able to walk directly on. I assumed that there was a spawn still in there because, like I said earlier, I did not notice that the infantry squad went and took it down early game, so I am preparing for the worst, and I am pleasantly surprised when my guys, as well as this other squad, are simply able to walk onto the flag. Squad 6 has fortification. Anything in there? Let me know if that changes.
It's completely clear.
At this point, I have to take a lodge across the North Road, which is very dangerous. Militia will tend to mine it. There's oftentimes contact at quarry, although I'm fairly confident at this point in the match there won't be. And so sometimes I'll take the north border and actually go up and around the rocks. Other times I'll just take the road but try to stay off it for mines. In this instance, this APC is going in front of us, so I'm using it for a minesweeper, and it actually volunteers to be our minesweeper in command, which is very sweet of them. Thank you. And so at this point, I'm just heading for the objective as fast as I can. The objective starts to take some contact, so this fob is going to be helpful. And as you can see, this APC hits a mine in front of us, so because they have so much build on the truck and because they were so kind as to offer to be our minesweeper, I tell them that I'll build them a rep station when I drop. As we neutralize the flag, the defense is still full cap, and I forget to mention that to the team, but Stiff picks it up for me, and I eventually announce it, and everybody is clear to move on, and we inevitably win the game.
We good to push the fortification, Cap? We're not decapping waterfall.
Yep. Everyone's good to go fortification. My last move of the game is to use my final 600 build to try to get a cheeky internal fob, even though it's still a little bit hot. I can come in from a fairly safe angle, and that's when the end screen pops up. Oh, I didn't notice.
Oh god. I don't think it's 16.
Don't worry about it. There's game. Good job, everybody.
Good job, squad.
That squad that flanked us on the
leader.
east on the midpoint nearly won the game for the enemy team. They put us in such a bad position there that if we didn't take waterfall, we would have been pushed back to objectives. They nearly won it.
You also sound like 5, so you don't know shit about the world.
Wow, that was so hurtful. You're also like 5, so you don't know anything about the world, brother.
What a great note to end it on. So once again, the two things that I think prevented that match from going a lot more smoothly were the fact that, first off, I got that truck stuck on that central fob early game, and I did not have access to that while the enemy was completely outmaneuvering us, and we were stuck working off a single spawn for a little while there. If I did have access to that truck, I probably could have flanked their main western fob from the west, or potentially done something else to resolve that situation and keep our spawns competitive and keep us much more flexible and having more options than the corner we were backed into that nearly cost us the game. And then the second big thing was the early game fob placement. I probably should have just had Stiff place that fob further to the west on Waterfall. It could have potentially blocked the Crucible fob I wanted to build, but I could work around that and put it a little further north. That wouldn't have been a problem. He was already making the risk of going down that south road and taking that curve that can be very, very risky. And then to have him pull back east and lose map control by placing a objectively worse fob didn't really make sense. I should have put a little bit more thought into that, and I should have had him go somewhere more useful off game start and then backtrack and build that fob as a backup. And with that said, I don't know who was leading on the other team that built that north fob and then worked their way around, or potentially went and built a tunnel fob or worked off of quarry. I don't know where those northeast guys came from, but massive props to them. They seriously crippled our team on the midpoint, and if they were just a tiny bit faster about it, or if we just made the most minor of mistake while trying to compensate for it while stealth capping, they could have easily won that game for their team, or at least seriously set us back. Also, honorable mention to Command for that perfect A10. That was once again a situation where there was one fob that was the obvious thing to destroy with Commander for the game win, and they destroyed that fob at the perfect time.